Hey, welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Caleb Teskey, as usual. And as usual, we've got another great guest for you tonight, man. And I want to thank everyone. Boy, we've been having some killer interviews lately, man. And I know I say this every time, but that's because I only get great guests on the show, man. I'd like to thank Tito Byrne from the Byrne Gallery, man. Another great interview there. My man Oak Lone Tree, another MC from Massachusetts. You guys know I love doing the artist spotlights, and that's what we're doing again tonight here with my next guest. And this was a very important one that I think is going to be slept on, but is probably the most important shit I've talked about the entire time I've been doing the show. And that's Marguerite Edelman from the Vermont PFAS and Military Poisons Coalition. And I really suggest you guys check that out if you're interested in my content, man. This is an issue that's going to affect all of us for the rest of our lives, and I really think hey, that's I only invite people on if I think they're worth talking to. And that's the story with my next guest. And I got to meet him. It was cool, man. Like, I never met this guy. I've heard a lot about him, and I never met him. And then big homie Wes put on a show at the Oasis. I want to say it was a couple months ago, and I got to meet the guy. Let's bring him out, man. I had to ask him for his real name too because I forgot his real name. Boom! It's John Keefe Jr., aka Jibba the Gent. Yo, thank you for being here tonight, man. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I don't just give out the government to anybody either.
Yo, I appreciate that, man. And I only ask because I like to know people's real name. It's really hard to keep track of all this shit. And
I bet.
Yeah. And I know you told me when we met, and I totally forgot.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Yeah. Before we get into anything serious, wait, we got a comment already. Hold up. Oh, he says the audio is cutting out. How's the audio on your end?
Seems good.
It sounds good to me. Do I sound good to you?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, cool. So I apologize to whoever's listening. Everything seems good on both our ends, and I'm gonna ask you to give us a 5-minute life story before we get into anything serious, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Right from the beginning. Born in Rutland, Vermont. Yeah. Born in Rutland, Vermont. Moved around a lot when I was young. We moved to Putney, Brattleboro, parts of New Hampshire, Hinsdale, back out to Tinmouth, Vermont. So by the time I was 7, I'd moved around quite a bit. We found Springfield when I was about 10 years old, and my family settled here for the most part. Started with my music career with Vasey up in his bedroom. Making beats to Music Generator PlayStation game. We were just trying to copy the greats, and I think we did a pretty good job locking that down, and then we decided to do our own thing from there. We were known as the Strugglers to start, and then we eventually became Cause and Effect as the years progressed.
So it sounded like you were almost done. Yo, carry on. I'd like to pop back in when it sounds like people are almost done, but yeah.
All right. No,
carry on
good.
If there's more. Is it good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like to interrupt a good 5-minute life story. And I do got to ask you, perhaps, how you came upon the name Jibba the Gent.
That was from rolling up joints when I was in school. I guess we're way past that by now, but selling joints in school at $5 a pop, rolling them up perfect Jibba was the slang term then, and Jibba the Gent I became from there.
Are we past that? Because
that looks good. Past getting in trouble in school, that is.
I twisted one up for the occasion.
Hey, it's a Jibba.
It's a you. Hell yeah. And when I talk to any type of rappers or musicians and shit, I love to ask them, and I know this is a cheesy question, but who are the influences? Like, and I'll tell you a couple of mine. I wrote them down here. Nas, It Was Written. That was one of the first albums that really changed my life. and also the 36 chambers. I feel like is obvious, but I'd love to hear some of the people that got you involved in hip hop, man.
The first hip hop album I ever bought was Warren G's, and then from then on I just
Warren
explored.
G, really?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Fuck
Warren
yeah,
G and
dude.
Nate Dogg, they got
Fuck
me with
yeah.
the G Funk.
That was a
Um,
great album, dude.
I've always loved the West Coast from then on. Love East Coast rappers, love the Southern stuff too, but West Coast has always had my heart. So I just got into the rappers from that area. And Corrupt ended up being my favorite MC out of all.
No shit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. I bumped the Dog
All right.
Pound and Corrupt heavy. Yeah, he was spitting since way back, and I feel like probably got outshined by the greats out in that era, Snoop Dogg's and but he could hang with Tupac, he could hang with Snoop Dogg, Dre, all of them. So I always like he's an underdog and he can just spit off top like crazy too. So I always just love that dude.
Yeah,
Then you
and
got
I know you mentioned Outkast in your bio. I feel like that must have been a big one too. And I'm a big Outkast fan myself.
yeah, Outkast for sure. Big Boy and Andre. I know a lot of people will put Andre ahead of Big Boy as maybe one of the best lyricists ever, but I feel like them two together, uh, they could compete head on all night and just come out even. Those dudes both can spit. It's crazy good rap group.
Yeah, word up. I also just remember one of my homies growing up like had this MLP CD, Warriors, which was a big one for me. And
Yeah,
I don't even think they're the greatest rappers, but something about like if you turn on an MLP CD right now, I would fucking yeah.
yeah. I got to see them live actually just a couple
No
weekends
shit.
ago in
What?
Boston. They came out for the Big Three. Ice Cube was in
Uh,
town and he brought them out for the
tell
50th anniversary of hip hop.
tell us about that a little bit if you wouldn't mind.
That was sick. The Big Three basketball league that Ice Cube put on. They do a 50th anniversary celebration for hip hop everywhere they go this year. So we caught the Boston show. They brought MLP out, and they just had the arena going crazy. Andy Up was going. They had him going wild. Just
Yo, they were supposed to be at Rock the Bells when I went, and they had to back out. And I was kind of sad because I was really looking forward to seeing them, man. I've heard their shows are live as hell.
yeah, I've never got to see him before, so I was
Yep.
so happy. It was a surprise.
I did get to see Tribe Called Quest before they stopped touring down there,
Oh
and that
man,
was yeah,
that's fire. Yeah, I wish I could
yeah,
see
it was a
that.
great show. They put on a really good show, man.
Yeah,
Even
I
in the
bet.
fucking auditorium. And I don't love seeing shows in like it was at the Tweeter Center in Massachusetts or whatever it is now. The fucking whoever bought it since then, but
Yeah,
I personally prefer smaller shows because it's more intimate and I can actually like see you and I'm not sitting in the fucking lawn seat a mile back. But
yeah. I agree with
yeah,
that.
but I did see some good shows there, Nas included. He came there and Jedi Mind Tricks, another group
Oh,
that
that's
I
sick.
kind of like. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I, I like Stoop. I'm not crazy about Vinny as an MC, but like I do love Stoop. I think he's a great producer.
Right on.
Word. Yo, the next note that I have is something you also included in your write up was about the ulcerative colitis, and I do have to. This is going to be weird, but I have to stop here for a minute because I also have an autoimmune
Yeah.
condition. I got psoriatic arthritis, and I know that can fuck your life up a little bit. And I'm curious how that has affected your life, man.
Slowed me down quite a bit. And made me realize that I do need healthcare to survive. So it kind of made hip hop take a back seat for the day job because really there is no healthcare plan with hip hop. You gotta be able to wing it, make that dough, pay up front. So definitely slowed me down, but it also gave me a new perspective because when I first got really sick and I didn't know what was going on, the doctors were trying to figure it out, and I was just getting sicker and sicker. They actually told me that I looked so terrible that they were a little worried about my life. So it
Wow.
gave me, yeah, it gave me
No shit.
pause and it made me think about things and
How old are you now? I forgot to ask you that.
39.
39. Wow.
Yep.
And
So
when
that
did you get diagnosed with this condition, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
Wow. So you've been
Yeah.
walking around with that for a while.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a minute now. So it's pretty much under control. I have my ups and downs still, but way better than it was in the beginning. So very thankful for
Cool.
that. Just
Do
grateful
you
for
got
the
to take
days.
any types of the medications? Like I have to take a Humira every 2 weeks. I got to stab myself in the leg with a fucking injectable. Do you got to
I got
take
something
any types?
similar.
Yeah.
Stellara, yeah, every 6 weeks in the stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, and do you feel like that's helping? I mean, I know for me, like when I first started taking that, the joint pain was so bad I couldn't even open my mouth to eat a sandwich. Like
Yeah, you got a
I
itis too, so everything's just swells up and
it was terrible, dude. And,
yep.
and the options were like take a pharmaceutical or deal with that for the rest of your life. Do you feel like you were kind of in a similar situation?
Yeah, I actually never really believed in modern medicine as a whole. I kind of felt like they're stringing us along, making us sick and then treating us as we go, as we're not feeling well, feeding us terrible foods and treating us with drugs and so it came down to
That
me.
wasn't on my list of shit, but I mean we could get into that if you want to.
Yeah, oh, I'm always down for that. Always down for that. But the choice was like be able to get up out of bed or nothing else is working and maybe just not even make it. Fought for as long as I could not to take any serious drugs, but here I am and I sing their praises.
Dude,
They have helped me.
I was in the same pickle, man, because the pain was debilitating. Like I
Hmm.
couldn't get
Yeah, that
out of
stuff
bed.
is
Literally, like I could not walk to the bathroom in the morning. That's and
I feel you.
I hate to interrupt our artist spotlight for some healthier shit, but
No, that's
I,
I'd like to get it out there. I feel
yeah,
like
absolutely, and I feel like I feel like you touched on it, and I personally feel like a lot of that is the food we're eating and the shit we're taking in, and since I've changed my diet, actually, I've been able to cut my medications in half that they give me for these conditions. So I wanted to
oh,
throw
that's
that out
beautiful.
there.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got so sick it felt like just even drinking water was bad. But now
Wow.
I try to be more conscious. Now that I'm
Really?
okay. Yeah.
It was that bad, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it was I was
Holy
hurting for a
shit.
bit. Hmm.
That's when you can't get water down, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I let it go too long and tried to stave off taking any
Wow.
medications.
And I like it was hard for me too, dude, because I don't trust pharmaceutical companies. And they were like, listen, this is your option here. And I was like, all right, I'll fucking do it. But I'm gonna complain the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Same here. I said I'm gonna tell you everything that goes wrong. I get lots of side effects of stuff and
Yeah, and every time I go to the rheumatology office, there's some old lady who says to me, "You look too young to be in here." And I'm like, "Yeah,
yes. Yeah,
you're gonna
that's me
die
every time I
soon."
go get a colonoscopy.
Yo, hey, I've had a couple of those too. The last guy that did one looked like my dad, and it's very weird to wake up from a drug coma and have your dad tell you that the inside of your asshole looks okay.
My doctor's really, really cool. He played my music as I was getting knocked out.
Yo, are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, he looked me up. He was banging my stuff. He's a good dude.
Yo, that's pretty tight, man.
Yeah, gotta love him. Gotta love him.
You caught
I
me off
shout him out,
guard there,
but
motherfucker.
yeah, I try to do
Yo,
that.
don't. Yeah, we'll keep the HIPAA rules in place here. I
Yep.
want to
Yeah.
ask you about. So, I do want to try to do a couple of screen shares. I'm still pretty rough at this, but my next question has to do with your first album, and I'd like to just kind of pop it up here. I think that's working, right? Bang,
That's it.
dude.
Yep.
Jibba the broccoli tree here. And by the
Working
way,
perfect.
yeah, and there's your website there, jibbathegent.com, where you can check out all your music. And I'd sort of like to have you walk us through this album. And I got some questions about all of your co-stars on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the broccoli tree was an actual tree that my family named growing up. We had it in our yard, and it just reminded me of A real good solid time in my life where I thought I was on top of the world as a young kid. And I just wanted to convey that in the music and the journey in my first intro to people. Um, my lead single off of that, funny as it is, was I'm Dead, which can sound kind of crazy um, at just first listen, but if you listen to the song,
We're gonna talk about that later.
that
Skip
one's
that
kind
one
of
and
about
come back
growth.
to that one.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So the album itself is a journey through everything that I was grateful for at the time. And it's been a minute since I released it, but I'm still grateful for all the experiences in my life to this day that brought me to that point, and just made me realize that I was happy to have the people in my life that were around me, happy to have gone through the situations I went through, good or bad, to be able to make the music that I was making.
And I'd like to, dude. Here's another guy I think you might relate to, Oak Lone Tree, who's
Yeah, I like that
uh,
logo.
yeah, and Oak is a Boston rapper that I met like 20 years ago, and it sounds like kind of a similar backstory there. So I'm gonna throw that at you.
Nice, perfect. I'm gonna
Cool.
check them out.
So what I want to do right now is run down a list of some of your friends and get you to do like a minute or two on each of them.
Okay.
Cool. Robin Mary or Marie.
Oh, that's my sister.
Oh, that's your
Yep.
sister.
Yes, it
Cool.
is. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
you can
So,
take as much time as you want, by the way, but I'd like to hear a little bit about each of these humans, please.
so she's probably the most amazing person on earth besides my mom. Just a really thoughtful, kind person that can always see what's needed in any situation and just make it better. I always tried to aspire to be as kind as she is. And she's got a beautiful voice, and she also does acting. You can catch her in community plays, um, and she's done some great ones like Chicago and the one where the plant eats people. Uh,
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. Yes,
Yo, fuck.
yes. She's great, and though she really got me into musicals and plays and stuff. I didn't realize how cool they were, but I wish I
it,
did
so,
at a younger
it
age.
sounds like maybe your family and mine might have, yeah, a lot in common.
Similarity.
Yeah.
Nice.
Has your mom been a big rock star in your life?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she's always been there for me through good, through bad. Always somebody that I can depend on and my biggest fan.
Yeah, word up. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Next name on the list is Fury.
Fury. That's my dude. I met him when I booked Bizarre for a show. He was his manager. He came through. He performed. We chatted it up. I had him out for a couple shows. He had me out for a couple shows. We ended up making some music together. Really good dude. He's got a show coming up in the next couple weeks out in New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire, with the
What, the
Six.
Shashkeen or something?
Yes, yes, sir. Yep. Or
Did
Jewel.
you
It might be Jewel.
did you say you were booking a show for Bizarre?
Yeah, yeah. We had
Yeah,
Bizarre out a
word,
couple
word.
times. He stole
How'd
a
that
limo
go?
once.
What's that?
He took off with a limo once.
Please tell
Without
us that. Please tell
it's
us
a
that story right now.
it's an awesome story because I don't think he was in the wrong either. So a friend of mine was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get him a limo. I'm gonna bring him out. We're gonna show him a good time before he hits the stage, and show him how Vermont really is." And I'm like, "Cool, that's awesome." But we weren't planning for this. He has a ride in. You don't got to worry about it. You guys can keep the limo if you want. Have fun. If you want to give him a ride, that's cool too. But expect the unexpected. Dude performed, came through, had a great time, shouted people out. We all had our shower caps on. We were jamming in the audience. He took off. Everybody was having a great time. Still, the ball dropped. It was New Year's, and then my buddy came up to me. He's like, "The limo's gone, and I think Bizarre took it."
And it was a New Year's show.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
fuck
So,
yeah. So he
so
stole a limo on New Year's.
yeah, and he got a ride home. He was ready to get the hell out of there. I can't blame him either. Um,
Yo, come on.
he did awesome. He did great. He just got in and was like, "All right, I'm done. Take me home." And the driver's like, cool, but
Yeah.
meanwhile he's working for my buddy.
Oh, I was gonna say, was it someone else's limo? Like, how is that stealing?
Yeah, so yeah, it was my buddy's limo, and he had hired them. So,
Oh, okay. But
and
hey,
basically to get a ride back, he had to book it a little longer. So he had to add some hours to it.
Oh, okay. So Bizarre racked up his tab a little.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Not his fault though. Not his fault. And it makes a great story every time someone asks
It
about
sure
it coming
does.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did ask about it in that one.
Big ups to that man. He's great. He's great.
I told you this was going to be good. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got some stories.
Yo, the next name I got on the list is Vasey.
Vasey, that's my homie. We've been through it all. I've known him since we were 15 years old. Saw him walking through the hallway. We both had a basketball under our arms, and we just hit it off from there. He found out early on how to make some beats through Music Generator, like I said earlier, and then we found out other ways to make music and record our voices, and we traveled to Oklahoma just to record a song our senior year in summer, and
Wow.
the rest is history from there.
He's Brad, right?
Brad, yep, that's Brad. Yep.
So he was your jump off point into this whole journey.
Yeah,
Like,
without him, I probably wouldn't have even done it.
What type of gear was he working on when you guys first started fucking around with music, man?
A PlayStation. With a game called Music Generator. Kicked it all off. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and we were mimicking songs like Quiet Storm from Mobb Deep or Love to Love Ya from Timberland and Magoo. Rest in peace, Magoo. I just heard he passed.
A PlayStation.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever told me that yet, man.
Vasey made I Need a Girl Part 2 remix. He just remade the whole beat on the PlayStation. Once he made that one, I was like, holy shit, this kid's got some major talent. So we started looking into better gear and
wow,
creating our own sounds.
That's amazing. And I know some friends at schools actually use PlayStations to do complex mathematical computations.
Really?
Which was super cool to learn. Like, they would string them together and they would use them. Like, I bet now they're trying to use them to collect Bitcoins or something. But
I bet.
They had a dedicated graphics processor or something. Something about the PlayStation made it good for them. And they used to do MATLAB computations on there. It was wild watching kids.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I don't understand anything about that, but it's nice to watch nerds who are really good at what they do what they do.
Yeah, and be passionate about it. I mean, if you're working on PlayStations to do it, then big props.
And maybe now is a good time to ask you about Zach Crawford, because that sounds like a guy maybe you've known for a minute.
Yeah, we met each other at Domino's Pizza. He came in and was a delivery driver, and I was slinging the pizzas. We got to talking when we were working together, and besides weed and drinking at the time, we had music in common. So I've always kept in touch with him no matter where he went. He went down to Nashville to study music, and we talked then, and I'm pretty sure we made some tunes even over that that distance between us. And then we've stayed in touch and made more music over the years, and super proud of everything I've made with him. He's one of the most talented people I know in music.
Have you ever hit a chillum behind the oven at the gas station Domino's you worked at with Zach?
Yeah, and I may have turned around and seen two police officers when I after I blew the smoke up the the vent. I thought I was busted forever that day.
I told you I was going to canvass your friends and try to find some funny stories, man. That's what I came up with.
Yes, that's a great one. Definitely a core memory.
Another thing that I heard was that you and Brad quote, and this is a quote I want to say from Zach, that we're definitely way into boy band R&B style group dance routines and shit. I never witnessed it, but I heard that was part of their come up.
Yes, yes. We actually got best dancers in our in our yearbook, our senior yearbook, and we were doing the dances. We knew them all. The NSYNC, Usher. Um, I think even that you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. We used to do them all. Cisco.
The Bloodhound Gang, isn't that
Yes,
them?
yes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Couldn't think of it on the spot.
Yo, and I've never said this publicly, but you know, some of those fucking Backstreet Boys songs I do sing in the shower.
They still, yeah, they pop right up in your head. They stick with you. I
Yeah.
don't over the years. Yeah, I may have lost a couple of steps, but I know a few still. We did win some competitions
Yo,
for dancing. We did. We did.
word up,
Shout
yo!
out to Big Show Rutland.
And I want to just say thanks to Zach for that one. I
Yeah,
thought that
man,
was
that's a good one.
yeah. It seems
Big
like
big shouts to Sky Splitter.
yo, and I've listened to a lot of the music that he has been quietly working on behind the scenes, and it just sounds everything that he puts out of there sounds amazingly. It sounds better. I've heard some of the stuff before it goes into Zach, and
Yeah,
then I hear when it comes out of Zach,
you can
and boy,
actually hear it.
it really seems like he's dialed in over there, man.
Yeah, his level of pro is right up here.
Yo,
You can
and
definitely count on him.
doesn't he also play a number of instruments?
Yeah, he does. He's inclined musically inclined for sure. Makes crazy good beats that can stand alone without anybody rapping on them. If you check out his
What a
catalog.
what a jerk!
Yeah, yeah, seriously. How dare you keep that beat? That's too
Hell
fire.
yeah! I want to ask you. I got another one up here. I want to ask you about. Boom! It's I pulled up. What do we got here? Did that
It's
pop?
spinning.
Boom!
Oh,
Self destruct.
yeah.
Mickey
Uh
Fax. I'd like to ask you about Mickey Fax and this other prick, Kanganade.
the best
Yeah.
DJ on earth.
Oh, yeah, who has also been on my show. He seemed like a nice guy, but tell us more.
He is
And
pretty
also,
nice.
I'd also like to hear about Mickey because I really didn't know nothing about him until I ran across your music.
Mickey Fax is a great dude. An excellent rapper. He's got a school out right now that you should look into. Where he's actually teaching rappers how to rap and lyricism, and he has other prominent rappers come through and teach their styles and flavors. He's had Twista, he's had Jadakiss, The Roots. He he has his ear to the streets, and he's out here to teach too. He's the only rapper that I've got that's on the star level anyway. That actually called me up and was like, "Okay, what are we gonna rap about? What is this whole song about? I want to be on point with this." And it actually meant something to him, so it meant something to me.
That's cool, and it seems like you know if you're gonna work with people, maybe that's a good call to get.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely don't get that with everybody that you ask for a feature.
Hmm.
Like,
I called you to ask for a feature, and you know, it's funny because I actually had to hang up on our phone call. I had to cut it short, and I meant to call you. I meant to call you back before this one, but then we met at Oasis,
right
and I
on.
did, yeah, and I thought that would be good, but I didn't take any notes whatsoever. And then I had to. I was like, I don't even remember this fucker's name. I remember meeting him, and I watched the show, and it was a good show, and yeah,
Yes, that was a good night. That was a great night.
yeah, yeah, it was. And Wes, that I was gonna save that till later because he showed me your video. He was one of the people I canvassed your friends, and he sent me the video. But tell me about your thoughts on Wes, man, because that's where we met. And I personally, I am a little biased because he was one of my first friends when I moved to Morrisville, and I think Wes is a great guy. But tell me if you have any differing thoughts.
No, he's the best, like his the name is, and big homie. You can ask him for anything, he's gonna be there for you. He's a great dude. Um, Whenever he can help, and he makes some pretty excellent music too. I really like seeing his band live with the live bass and the other
Sam,
rapper.
Sam
That
Game. Yeah, word up to
yes,
Sam. Sam's a
yeah.
great guy.
Also seems like a great guy. Yeah, I've only ever met him at shows, so we're just like yelling to each other and can hardly understand each other, I'm sure, but seems like a great dude.
What about you said the other rapper? I'm guessing you meant Thayer.
Yeah, I've only ever seen him live, and he sounded like the white Pimp C to me. And Pimp C is another. If he's like number two on my list for favorite rappers. So I was super
I
psyched
used
to
to
hear him.
work with I used to work with Thayer at Burke Mountain back in 2018, and Thayer's also he's a fucking weirdo like me. Yeah.
I love it. I
I,
love it.
yeah, I like the guy. Wes's whole crew has been super nice to me, and I think those guys are headed in a very positive direction, man.
Agreed. Agreed. I only see
He-
big things.
Here's the next one I want to ask you about. Noah Jones.
Noah Jones, Mr. 300 from California. Really only ever talked to him over the net, but man, his work ethic and his delivery of content is unmatched, really. Honestly, he should probably be bigger than he is. But he's worked with everybody. It's crazy. It's one of those people that somehow everybody doesn't know their name, but has worked with literally everybody. And they call him Mr. 300 because he made a song a day for a year. So he did
That's
365
how I
songs.
feel. That's how I feel about Justin Boland.
Yeah, that dude. He's the tiger, isn't he?
Do you have any thoughts on Justin? Because I know he checks out some of my interviews, even though he doesn't want to admit it.
He's the man.
Yo,
BT.
and I know he runs. I know he also. Sorry to cut you off. I know he also runs
Yeah.
these Vermont hip hop pages, and I really, regardless of how he feels about it, I like what he's done with those pages, and it seems like he's giving you guys a platform to connect with each other.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of shine he's put on people and the relationships that have spawned out of it for the good. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind, which I appreciate. I think we all should. That's amazing. Someone being that honest in our scene. I feel like we can take his advice always because he's going to tell you like it is. And I don't know where Vermont hip hop will be without that dude. Not only is he a super talented writer and speaker, but he's a hell of an artist too. A lot of people sleep on that. Maybe it's just because it's been a minute since he's put out new music, but I hear he's got
Yeah,
some new stuff on
he
the way.
doesn't come out. It's because he doesn't come out in public a lot.
And
But
yeah, he
yo,
doesn't. Like,
he's been at home working.
I'm not sure I
And
would even recognize him if I saw him out in public. I'd have to like
yo,
double take a few times.
I saw him at Hannaford's like a couple months ago with his wife, and it was super cool because I never see Justin in public, and I got a hug. I love
Oh,
that
that's a
guy, man.
beautiful
I
thing.
really,
That's
yeah, dude, catching a wombat in his
yeah, in the
in
habitat.
yeah,
That's
that was
beautiful.
wild. I want to keep running down the list here. I got some other names here. The next one is Arthur Reed.
Arthur Reed, that man is a talented guitarist that was down at So 802 Studios quite a bit making music with us when we opened that up in Springfield. I'm pretty sure he's living out in New York now and is in a heavy metal band right now doing his thing, and they're doing well.
Are you an ICP fan?
I like ICP for what
I,
they are,
I you just
and
mentioned
I
the heavy metal guitarist, and I saw you in the video, which I'm getting to with your face painted. So I had to ask
yes,
you.
yeah, I love
What
them.
up?
I love the fan base. I love what they do. Um, it's great stuff.
I'm also
Whoop
I
whoop.
got to tell you, I don't love their music, but I really think they're probably amazing guys, and I would go to a show just because I like their philanthropic shit that they do. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they seem like good
I
dudes.
would go. I'd go
It's
to a
crazy.
gathering with Eric Bray if he took me.
Yeah,
Yo,
absolutely.
straight up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I whoop it up with
cool.
Eric Bray any day.
Yeah, I think Eric's a great guy.
Me too.
The next guy on the list is a guy that I have met a couple of times, Young Bree.
Breeze, go check out his new album right now. He just put it out yesterday. Yesterday, Alani Jade. You got to check that out. That man is the GOAT. stand on that.
Yeah, and I met him over at LaRoe's place, which was cool. He had the dude in the wheelchair whose name I
Shorty
always
Bang?
forget. Yeah, who I always forget his name, but he's a great guy too that I've met down at
Yeah.
Green Door Studios a bunch of times, and that whole crew seems like just a talented bunch of humans.
Yeah, it's crazy how he's been able to put that group together like he has. It feels like he's just cherry picking all the best artists from the area and just throwing them on his label.
Huh. So
Yeah,
you say they got a good eye for talent.
absolutely. Yeah, everybody on that label is top tier. Shorty Bang got
What
them
about
mean raps, but he's a nice dude.
I actually saw him perform a couple times. I think he killed it personally.
Yeah, he
I had a
does.
blast watching him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I should ask you about Jordan Farmer. Have you ever met Jordan? The
Jordan,
funky diabetic.
yeah, I met him and I bought a hat at the show that I met him. I like
Is
his
that his
backstory.
hat?
This one isn't. No, it's a
Oh,
skull
okay.
cap.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been perfect though, wouldn't it? No, I
No,
bought a Scully cap from him.
yeah.
He had his whole family out there. I liked everything that he stands for, and he had a soft spot with telling his backstory. My little brother also has an autoimmune disease, diabetes that he got when he was 5. So we chopped it up about that.
Yeah. So
Then
obviously
I
I
met him.
got a soft spot now.
Yeah, yeah,
I get a soft spot, autoimmune soft spot. Yeah.
yes. Autoimmune gang.
Yo, he wasn't on the list. He wasn't on the list either, but I just really like that kid. The next guy
Yeah.
on the list is Junum or
Oh, June.
Junum. I don't know how you say that.
Yeah.
Junum.
June Fargo. Also another crazy talented person that could probably think of a hit song on the spot wherever he is at any time. We were riding around on buses together to shows and just watching him talk to people. He's really electric and he's really talented. Anytime you put a microphone near him, he's making a hit song.
Where I like people like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's a good time.
And the last one I got at the moment is another dude I met at the Third Thursday show down at Scotty's place at the Green Door Studios. There's a bug here. Mad Scatta.
Oh, that's the dude too. He was down with us at So 802 early. We were looking to get him on the label at the time. So we recorded a bunch of music together. Big shouts to him. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice dude, and whoever else was there at the night, I think Box Guts was another one of the dudes who showed up for that, and he seemed like a cool dude as well.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I wish I made it out to that one. That looked like a good show that night.
Yo, and then we got another one. I want to pop this up on the screen. Sorry, I don't have a fucking Joe Rogan Jamie to do all my pop this up on the screen shit.
That's coming next.
But yeah, but there's a couple people here that I'd like to talk about, and one of them is I see the single "Sweet Tooth" with. Why don't you tell us about Ren Thomas, please? Yeah,
Ren Thomas is another great dude.
Yeah, I talked to Raw Def, and Rico was one of my first guests, but tell us about Ren because he's a dude I've never heard of at all.
He's a battle rapper. And he's taking out some people. If you go check him out on YouTube, he's done some great freestyles on like Sway in the Morning, and shows like that type of podcasting. And then he's also got really great battle rap events where he's lyrically assassinating people. Rick Ross actually flew him down to Florida and was trying to sign him. I'm not sure what happened there. And then he's also worked with some talent out in New York for his "I'm Nice." I've been nice. I forget who produced that, but dude is crazy talented and a nice dude from Jersey.
I won't hold your feet to the fire if you don't remember everything.
Yeah, I'm bad with that on the
I
spot.
do want to definitely I do want to definitely ask you about another about Raw Def, because he's a guy I've talked to, and I would love to have him on the show. I personally think um, he's a killer MC, man, and I've listened
He
to a lot of
is.
his work, and I think he's, in my opinion, I think he's just heating up.
Yeah, he could go. He could take it anywhere he wants to. Really, he's another goat. Someone that you can throw in a studio and he's gonna give you really quality work. And he's a really good dude. One of my best friends, honestly.
You know,
Rod Def.
and he was a little nervous, like when I first approached him about an interview. He's like, I really don't like talking about myself that much.
Yeah, that sounds
And
like
I
him.
thought that was kind yeah, I thought that was kind of a, you know, I appreciated his honesty, man. But
Hmm.
I honestly think that he's one of the best rappers in the area, and
He is.
I'd love to get him on the show.
He should come on too because he's really a funny and personable guy. You guys would crack up some really good conversations and gin up some stories that he's got
I
to
could
tell.
tell by the way he writes. I could tell by his lyrics that we get along.
You would definitely. He should definitely
Yeah.
come on. Rod Def, you should come on, homie.
Yo, word up. And now we'll get to the t-shirt, man, because you got the t-shirt on, and I wanted to sort of say that because Eric was one of my first guests on the fine print way back when I
Yeah.
first started. My first guest was Cynthia Seavright, who's asked me to remove that. She was from Vermont Department of Health. She actually asked me to take that interview down. So if you go
Uh,
look back now, Eric technically is my first guest. And you know, he helped me smooth out. I had never done this before, man. And he really, dude, I was on Zoom and I only had the free Zoom. So we had to cut it up into 3 spots. And he waited while I rendered the video down for
wow.
7 minutes. And I think we did we did about an hour and a half, but I had to cut it 3 times. And he was so patient with me.
I could see
And
him trying to
I'd
help you
like to
too.
hear your thoughts. Yo, he did just win. I'd like to say I watched those Vermont Hip Hop Awards, and I believe he just won that award for Producer of the Year. And
Well
I know he's
deserved.
worked with a lot of people. Yeah, I know he's worked with a lot of people out here, and including he did the beat. We did an on-site interview with John Rogers at his weed farm last year, and that was super cool. Where Eric gave us some music to use, as well as SK as well. I want to shout him out.
Big
And
ups.
yeah, tell us your thoughts on Eric, man.
He's another worker. He's gonna get the job done. Crazy talented beat maker, which I'm sure everybody knows by now, obviously, if he's winning awards. But he also does a lot of the artwork behind the signals that you see. He also mixes and masters all the artists that are on his songs. And he gets a lot of these artists together for his own collaborative albums, which are always phenomenal. And other than that, he's just a great dude, always working. I, I can't
Mm.
keep up, honestly.
He's a fucking animal, dude. He just
Yeah,
every week, dude, it's impressive because I made beats for a long time, and to watch some of these guys who can produce at this level, it's just insane to watch, man.
it is. It's really fun.
Mm.
I'm always looking forward to what's next, and usually there's something just a few days away.
Uh, Yo, before my next question, I want a shameless plug. I'm here with Jibba the Gent here. Yeah, you're on the fine print. It's shameless plug. Yeah, dude. And I love the Christmas lights you got going on there.
Yeah, keep it
Um,
festive.
yeah, there was a couple other dudes I want to ask you about. Jack the Rich
Jack the Rich. He
on the single tripping. Here, hold up. Let me blast that up on the screen because I got that somewhere. Jack the Rich. Boom. Tripping. Boom.
yeah. He's
Yeah. Tell me
another
about
really
Jack.
great dude I've known forever, just about as long as I've known Vasey. And he's gotten into the music as well. He raps and produces. I guess I could compare his music a lot to like the Griselda lane. He can do drumless. He uses for his sampling. He uses a lot from movies and scores from movies to make his beats. which I always thought was pretty
I love
interesting
that
and
shit.
creative. Yeah,
That's
he
where I
gets down in the
started
studio.
when
It's
I first
fun.
started making. Dude, I made beats for about a decade, and that is exactly where I started. The Sound of Music was the first fucking.
Oh, that's great.
I still have a prod. I still have a beat with Matt Scott, who's Elder Orange now, who you might
Yes,
know from working. Yeah, he did the Jade Relics project.
yes.
Yeah, and now he played some bass on a on a sample that I sent him from The Sound of Music. That was literally the first thing I ever tried to make. Yeah.
I love it.
And I love some of that. I love some of that old Ennio Morricone, like the old Italians, and
Hmm.
some of that Godfather shit. Yeah,
Just waiting for
it's
some
great.
drums.
Yeah, it's amazing music. Even John Williams, who did like the Star Wars stuff, and some of that space music. Yeah,
I love
cool.
going back to check out some old films and realizing, oh, that's in Jay-Z's album right there.
Hey, yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a reason why he, yeah, that
yeah.
whole Godfather image he created was, I believe, was based on some of that
Oh,
sampling. Yeah,
definitely.
I think there was a little piece of that,
Absolutely.
and and I want to get back to you now because I asked you about all your friends, but I want to ask you, um, like when you first decided you were gonna start performing, and I want to ask you, like, where was your first show at, and how did that go?
So the first show was really when we were dancing, that, like we talked about earlier, and we did a performance in front of a packed auditorium, and we were actually blown away. The sound of the audience scared me when we were done, and I had to take a second and be like, "Oh, this is a good thing." And I fell in love with that feeling, and I've chased it ever since. So once I got into making my own music, that's probably one of the reasons I got into making my own music. I wanted to put on shows and performances that would make people scream at me.
So your first one went good.
It did. It did. Yep.
Yeah. Was anyone there with you performing alongside you?
Yep. Brad Vasey and Mike Wright. We were the trio called the Shot Boys back then.
What about Mike? I didn't ask you about his name. Got left up. Is he a guy you're still in contact with?
Yep. Yeah, he lives in Hull, Massachusetts now. He lived in Florida for probably 15 years, and he's back up northeast now. One of my best friends.
Dope.
Awesome kid.
Cool. And now, when we first spoke, this was all I had from our phone call because I cut it short because I knew we were going to meet. But you said, and this is a direct quote. I don't like to quote my guests out of context. But you said, I've had two great highlights in my music career, and I'd like to ask you about both of them. The first one is regional radio play on top 40 radio stations for a hit single with my group, Cause and Effect.
Yeah, Brad and I started with a joke of a song that ended up being something that people really liked. And then as we showed more and more people, other people wanted to get involved with the journey. So Sydney Devon from Massachusetts got a hold of the song and contacted Kwame at Z97, and we started shopping this song around, and they started playing it there for us, and it generated a buzz from there to other radio stations and kind of snowballed into us gaining some notoriety for that song, and we got lots of shows booked from that song in that moment in time and making the music video. So that whole run with Cause and Effect and this country hip hop song called Redneck was something that was a lot of fun.
That's dope because personally, I wonder if people still listen to the radio.
Yeah, yeah, they were at the time. It was cool. We had people calling in and requesting our song, and we actually were 2 weeks in a row the number one song on our local radio station
Oh, that's dope,
in
dude.
Rutland.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to run a radio show at Linden State College back when I
Oh,
was
beautiful.
19. You know, at the whatever that was, the 91.5, I don't remember. But it was super fun for us because we got to play as long as it was censored. they would let
Yep.
us bring in our own CDs, and I could just hit the mute button because I knew all the lyrics. So, and
Yeah.
they were dumb enough to just trust us. Yeah, so like we could play whatever we wanted, and I thought that was awesome because I was, 18 at the time, and back then, we still bought CDs, and that was a
Yeah.
great, yeah. And CDs now have, I still like to buy them once in a while because cars still have a CD player, but it seems like most people now are just listening to shit online, man.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. And even myself, I'll collect them. I barely ever take them out of the package now, but
Yeah, where
um,
it's like a
it's
nice
just
pair of
so easy.
Nikes. You
Yeah.
just let it sit there.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Hmm.
shouldn't though.
Yeah, dude, I still have cassette tapes at home.
That's awesome. I wish
Yeah,
I had my cassette tape collection still. Rob Def has an excellent cassette tape collection. If you ever get him on here to talk
yeah,
to you, get him talking
yeah.
about that.
Okay, cool. The other thing that you mentioned as a big career highlight, and I'm gonna just take a second to pop this up on the screen because I thought that was a great screenshot. I think I nailed it right
Yeah,
there.
you got that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
this
Under the gun.
this is the I'm Dead video. And Wes, by the way, when I was canvassing your friends last night asking for cool stories to tell about you, Wes sent that over, and he said, I don't know, maybe they filmed it in Vegas or something. And dude, I'd really like to hear about that because I watched the video and it's a killer fucking video, man. And it certainly seems to match up with Zach Crawford's allegations that you guys were into boy band style dancing routines.
Yes. Another great friend of mine, Matthew Dean Russell, uh, was making a movie out in Colorado, and he had shot it and needed some music for the score. And he actually had bought this beat from a friend of his and sent it to me and told me what the film was about. And I wrote that song to what the film was about. And he ended up putting it in it and told me, hey, I'll fly you out to Colorado and we'll film a sick music video for it. And he sure did come through.
Are you a Michael Jackson fan? Because the first thing I thought was this has some Thriller elements.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely tapped into Thriller on that one. And yes, I am a fan of MJ.
It's okay.
And
I still listen to all that shit.
yeah, I can't help it.
The music was still amazing regardless of whatever happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Illuminati or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened, but I know that all of that music was amazing, and
Yeah.
that was life
It's great.
changing. Yeah,
There's
dude, and
definitely odes to him in that video.
cool, dude, and it was a great fucking video, man. Like, and what's up? It sounded like I feel like when I talked to you the other day, you were like, "Yo, after we did this, that was I thought it was gonna blow."
Yeah, it felt like I had hit it big there. The budget for that alone was insane, and the people that were involved in it have gone on to do some pretty big things. Colin Flume was behind the camera the whole time, and now he's done
He did a great
huge
job,
music
by the way.
videos,
Yeah,
and
whoever that guy was did a great
yeah,
job. I
you
hate
can
to
check him
interrupt you
out.
again, but
He's got a IMDb. If you look at Colin Flume, he's done things for VH1 behind the music, and he's done things for the Discovery Channel and you know stuff that videographers would aspire to do.
hmm,
He's done it all.
huh. And
He
you said
takes a hell of a shot.
and you said you're looking for another highlight to make this a trifecta. Let me ask you,
Gotta.
what would be your ideal highlight to make this a trifecta? If you could bring in any artists you wanted in a daydream, whether or not it's feasible, who would you
Yep.
fucking pull in to make this your daydream trifecta?
Oh, I think that I would work with Matt and Colin again for the visual aspects. I'd continue to work with Rico James, and I would holler at L'Orange, that just got done with Mellow Music Group and opened his own music, Old Soul company.
Those mellow
Um,
music guys are fucking out of control over there.
they are, and he's spawned off from a 10-year career there into his own thing, and I know that Rico's a big fan of Orange as well. Shouts to Marlo. Those guys are on the wave that I'm on right now. So if I was able to get up with them at this point in time, I feel like that would be the trifecta.
And I'm getting towards the end of my questions, but I definitely skipped over one that I gotta ask you. And this is from Kyle. Oh, Kanga, Nate.
Kanga.
Tell us about him too. I pick a booger here, but he told me a funny story. I meant to ask you about him earlier. Tell us about your thoughts on Kyle before I tell you the story that I got from him, please.
The best DJ I've ever seen. He is certainly a gem and a gentleman. Whenever I see him performing and people aren't paying attention to what he's doing when he's doing his thing, I get rage inside and I feel like punching everybody.
I've told Kyle this a few times. Like, I'd like to see him have a bad night, because every time I see him perform, he just absolutely fucking crushes it. And
Same.
It just really, I've never met a dude in Vermont who could do what he does.
No way. Dedicated to his craft, and he's got that whole thing with the Church Street DJs where he did the tutorials. I think 40 of them on how to be a DJ. That's all that stuff.
Yeah, and I know he always he was at Above the Radar last year where they do some great stuff, and I know he's doing A Dog Day again, which I think is really I don't like hanging out in Burlington, but I think that's one of the best fucking things that happens in Burlington every year. I think it's
we made it out there for a few, and it's a little bit of a hike to Burlington for us, but in southern Vermont, but we make it out to those shows.
Yeah, yes, great. It is. Yeah, you can't get there from here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to ask you about was the COVID years, man, because that was something that you mentioned. It sounded like that fucked up some of your game plan, and I've been asking all the musicians sort of how they fared through the COVID years, man.
Yeah, I felt like we had another highlight coming in the music career at that point in time. We were gearing up to go on tour with Twisted, and that just all got canceled all of a sudden.
No
I actually
shit.
had merch ready to go, and I was set up business-wise and music-wise to
with Twisted. So I wasn't too far off with the ICP question.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, cool. Yep. So you were going to go on tour with them, and that got canceled.
Yeah, COVID killed that, and plans changed. And
what a bummer, dude.
Yeah. Yep. It gave me a new perspective on life, though. I got closer with my family. I was nonstop for years with shows and the next thing music. So taking a breather there, it wasn't the worst thing that could have happened to me at that time.
Yeah. Assuming you're close with your family, those were good years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's been good.
I'm pretty much at the end of you made it through the gauntlet here.
All right. I feel like stronger.
Dude, this was a great interview, man. And I'm super happy we met. And I want to shout out to Wes one more time for putting on all these shows, bringing a lot of good people together, including Breeze, who I think is a great guy, and Shorty Bang, dude. I really like those guys. I noticed that Jordan Farmer always comes out with Lou Vlad. Every time there's a show, they come out to support, and I really like those guys. Maybe there was maybe SK. Maybe I should ask you about
Scotty or SK1 or SK.
Okay, hold on. There's one of each. There's something about Kyle said there was a time that Scotty Raymond made you a huge cardboard cutout of Jibba the Gent with a crown and everything.
They made that for me.
Is that
a cardboard
true?
cutout? He did a background drop on a big canvas for me with Jibba the Gent. I almost rolled it out for tonight too. I should have. I was gonna throw it behind me, but I was like, maybe it was too much.
Is it in your house somewhere?
Yeah.
Can you go get it right now?
Yeah, maybe a little bit big. Hang on a second.
Go
I'll
get it
be right
right
back.
now. I'll riff for a minute.
All right.
Yo, we're here right now with Jibba the Gent, man. And I knew this was going to be a fun interview, man. This guy is just a super down-to-earth human. And when I met him at the Oasis with Big Homie Wes only introduces me to people that are stand-up humans. And if they're not, he'll tell me right off the bat. And I just
Big
know,
homie
like,
Wes.
yo, every time I come out to a show with Wes, there's just great people there. The crowd is super friendly, except that one guy who got kicked out of the Oasis who was being a dick. Yo, that's okay. That's huge. Holy shit. And Scotty made this.
Yeah,
Yo,
he did.
Scotty, yo, is that a canvas or something?
Yeah, it's canvas.
Oh,
Yep.
it's not a cardboard cutout.
No, I haven't seen that. If there's one with a crown, I gotta see it. But yeah,
Oh,
this is what I got from
sick.
Scotty.
Yo, and it kind of looks, it kind of gives me like a circus vibe, dude.
Yeah, he killed it. That. Yeah, I think he's seen I'm Dead and hooked it up.
Yo, and that seems to match that same vibe very well. Yeah, Scotty is one of my favorite people I've ever met, man. And it's super dope to see him doing all the artwork. He did some artwork for Winooski Organics, I know, at the dispensary over there. And word up to those guys, Eddie and Dylan, super nice guys. They've been sponsoring the third Thursday shows at the – yo, that's not –
big ups. Yeah.
Look at you with the T-shirt on. Yo, thank you. Thank you for doing that, man. And we've reached the end, man. So that's where that's where I thank you for your time and remind you that I always save the last word for my guests. So if there's any shameless plugs, anything we missed, any shout outs or social medias you want to plug or any shows you got coming up, now's the time, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me, man. This has been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on. It's really been a pleasure for me as well. I love following your work and all the exposing you've been doing. That's my favorite. I did want to shout out because there is a future project in the works with DC the MIDI Alien, super talented producer out of Massachusetts, and I know he's going through a rough time right now, but he's going to be all right. Me and Rod Def got something special coming with him. And then for shows I got coming up, we're gonna do a showcase.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Because I've got a John Keefe here saying great interview.
That's my dad.
Is that your dad?
Yeah. Yep. That's my dad.
Cool. Carry on, man. John, thank you so much for watching, man. Your son is a great guy. Please carry on. I didn't mean to I never interrupt the last word, but please.
That's all right. You can interrupt for my dad. Love you, Dad. And for a show I got coming up, it's gonna be up in Herman, Maine, and it's a memorial show for Cam Carl from the Six, from Northern Lights Nation, 656 Records. He passed away this summer, and we miss him dearly. He means a lot to all of us, and I hope to see a bunch of familiar faces out there. That's coming up in September.
You got anything left? Because that seems like a great note to close on.
That's it, man. That's it, my dude. Thank you for having me.
And we got your dad in here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a good night.
My mom watches a lot of my interviews, and she actually introduced me to Scotty Raymond, and I think Scotty's one of the best dudes ever. And I just, it's a small world out here, and it's nice to, hey, John, yeah. I bet if he's anything like you, he's a great guy.
Yeah, even better, I think.
Oh, fuck yeah. Cool.
Well, all right, man. Much love.
For everyone watching, I'm signing off. Jibba the Gent, thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Caleb Teskey, and I got to say my cheesy tagline, the devil's